Waterville's fire chief has ordered a group photo posted on the department's Facebook page taken down because of what some people perceive as a white supremacist symbol being flashed by one of the firefighters. In it, one of the firefighters is holding his right hand at his wrist with his thumb and forefinger, forming an OK sign. Still, Esler says he would condemn any kind of racism in his department.
As a fire department as a whole, we would not tolerate any kind of behavior that even resembles racism, white supremacy, extremism, anything like that.
The photo first came to light in a Bangor Daily News article, in a Bangor Daily News article, in a Bangor Daily News article, in a
Recently, a small town in Maine was rocked by a massive scandal. The fire department just published a new group photo of the town's crew on their Facebook wall. It did not take long for the scrutinizing eyes of faux journalist Aisha Pendakar to find just what she was looking for to write about in the far-left newspaper she works for, the Bangor Daily News. This paper has a long history of pushing anti-white news stories, even calling "It's okay to be white" a, quote, Nazi slogan on their front page. She discovered that one of the firemen in the photo was making a hand gesture that resembled the feared white supremacist OK sign. So she did what any responsible journalist would do and contacted the fire department. This was going to be her final act of responsible journalism. She spoke with Fire Chief Sean Esler and demanded a statement. Esler informed Pendakar that he was not just going to investigate, but he was going to ensure that if he had found even the slightest evidence that this fireman had any pro-white leanings, that he would not only be terminated, but he would also do everything in his power to prosecute this man. Instead of Esler just telling Pendakar that she had her priorities wrong and that it's okay to be white, he instead threw his own man under the bus as to not miss an opportunity to go on an anti-white sanctimonious tirade. After hanging up the phone, Pendakar submitted her inflammatory story to the newspaper, who printed it on their front page. The headline went viral. It was shared by every left-wing site, media outlet, organization, social media profile all across the nation. Even the ADL had to inject their venomous statements into the pot. All the while, the fireman in question was completely unaware of what was going on. He found out about his alleged white supremacist leanings the same time everyone else did. I ask you to imagine being in this man's place. You are doing your job to serve your community, and in an instant, without doing anything, you become the target of an anti-white attack, where you are being accused of being a white supremacist and are under investigation for possible white terrorist ties. And that investigation did happen. A full day later, the Bangor Daily News updated the article to reveal that the investigation found that the fireman's hand was in fact injured from training exercises prior to the photo being taken. The newspaper did not issue a retraction. They never published a follow-up story on their front page as they had with the initial story. Pendakar herself, who published the story on her Twitter feed, never tweeted a link to the buried follow-up. The entire incident was hushed and gently swept under the rug, hoping that as few people saw it as possible. Let us not beat around the bush here. Had this fireman been non-white, such an event would have never happened. He was targeted solely because he is white. Full stop. Had he been black and a white journalist contacted the fire station to inquire why his black fireman was flashing a gang sign, the fire chief would have defended his man in a heartbeat. He would have dismissed the accusation and told the journalist that she was a racist for even noticing. Other news outlets would even write stories about how the black fireman was racially targeted by hatred and bigotry. And if the story was ran for it only to be known later that the fireman's hand was in that pose due to an injury, they would be hell to pay. The newspaper would come under fire for unscrupulous reporting practices. The journalist would immediately resign, but not before making a tear-sobbing beg for forgiveness for all the hurt, pain, and suffering she caused the black community of Maine. Numerous alphabet organizations would be suing the paper on the fireman's behalf, and there would very likely be a protest held in front of the headquarters of the Bangor Daily News. But not only was this fireman targeted for being white, He is also being deprived of due justice for what the media had done to him and his good name, as well as furthering the anti-white racial stereotypes that have led to so much of the bigotry and violence that whites face on a daily basis. We are long overdue to start standing up for our people. We need to hammer this paper and demand that Minotaur be fired. Her face needs to be made public, just as she has done to him. Her reputation, and the reputation of the Bangor Daily News, must never be allowed to wash away this stain. Ponder these words as you follow me on all social networks in the description. And remember, watch from the shadows and see the truth.